Hello, and how is everyone out there doing? Ryan from Fight Game Analysis here, and today we're going to be talking about Derek Brunson versus Edmen Shahbazyan, doing an analysis and prediction on that upcoming fight. If you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and like this video, just smash on that like button, and also subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support. Derek Brunson versus Edmen Shahbazyan is a classic fight. You see it all the time in combat sports. So what we've got here is a young up-and-coming guy in Shahbazyan who's got a lot of momentum. He's looked great lately. They're putting him against Derek Brunson in a guy who's, I don't want to say he's past his prime or over the hill or anything like that, but he's on the cusp of journeyman. At the same time, everybody knows he's not going to get a title shot. He's not going to win a world title, anything like that. So it's that classic young lion versus old lion matchup. If the young guy wins, he gets a guy who gets a bigger name on his resume, built some experience, and he continues to move forward. If the older guy wins, Derek Brunson, he just took a young guy and stole all of his momentum and showed that he's still on the winning track, and he starts to put together more of a winning resume to get himself to a title shot. Now, on the surface, looking at these guys, it appears to be a clash of two styles. On the one hand, you've got Derek Brunson, and the first thing that you think about with him, three-time NCAA Division II All-American. Those are high wrestling credentials. It's not easy to earn All-American one time. This man earned it 3 times in his career. So he was pretty successful at it. He's got very good power in his left hand. It's not, Francis Ngannou type power, but if he clips you, you're going to feel it. And he's got above average speed in those hands as well. Now, on the flip side of that, he overextends a little bit too much on his punches. He really tries to go in there and get after it, and he gets a little bit too ahead of himself. He also keeps his head on the center line too much, and that really opens him up for some counters. He comes in and he's right there. And on top of that, he keeps his chin up, which is just inviting trouble. So it's no surprise that you saw him getting caught by the likes of Israel Adesanya, who's a beautiful counterpuncher. On the other side of the octagon, you're sitting there with Edmen Shahbazyan, okay? Young guy, I think he's 23 years old. Now, he's all about his striking. As a matter of fact, he's got 3 first-round knockouts in his last 3 fights, all due to striking. Haven't seen him do any wrestling. I think we saw him defend 1 takedown and get out of the clinch. So he's all about the striking. Very crisp, clean shots. Very good with his hands. Only seen him through a few kicks, as a matter of fact. But those kicks were very crisp. Very little tell, very little wind up on him. Believe it was in his last fight against Tavares, we actually saw him get the knockout with a head kick. Now, we don't know about his cardio. We've never even seen him go 3 rounds, much less 5. He's young. We don't know how he's going to look in a main event. That's a lot of pressure going in. A lot of guys will crumble under that main line. Sometimes the moment gets too big for him. And we really don't know how Shahbazyan's going to act yet. So, how is it going to look when both these guys step into the octagon against each other? I think when they step out there, the first thing that you're going to notice is that Shahbazyan is going to start to walk forward. He's a patient fighter. He's flat-footed, but he's going to come forward and steadily apply pressure. Now, he's very light on his feet. He'll be able to bounce back when he wants to. And Derek Brunson is going to give up that ground. He doesn't mind allowing the guy to come forward. He's not a true counterpuncher. He's not going to dance around a bunch on the outside. He likes to fight flat-footed. But if a man wants to come forward, Brunson's going to slowly cede that ground. Now, he's going to explode a little bit, and he's going to try and get in those big, long lead left hands and the big 1-2s. But Shahbazyan's really light on his feet. He's going to be able to dance away from those. He's going to parry the jabs. He catches them nice in his right glove. So he'll be able to see all that coming. I don't see it being much of a problem. He's going to be able to close that distance with the jab when he wants. He's going to be able to come in and land the 1-2s. I think he's going to be able to piece up Brunson real nice from the outside. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue at all. And that's what the fight's going to start with. I don't think it's going to take Brunson long at all to shoot. Both men have been patient. Particularly Brunson has really shown in his last couple fights to be more patient than he used to. And I think that's because he's been trying to correct the cardio issue that he had. So They'll start out and attempt to feel each other out a little bit, but it's not going to take Brunson long at all to shoot. I think Brunson will be able to get him up against the cage. Don't think he'll get him down with just like a straight double leg or a straight single leg in the middle of the octagon. He'll probably push him up against the cage, be a little clinch work there, and that's going to be telling. That's going to be really telling there. If Brunson's able to stay glued to him, do some work up against the cage, and get Shahbazyan down when they're early, before they're all sweaty, get him on the ground and hold him there. I mean, who's to say what could happen at that point? Like I said, Shahbazyan doesn't have much experience at this high level. This is a main event. You know, he goes in there, he gets held down. He's got a veteran on him doing some ground and pound. He's a young guy. Maybe he freaks out a little bit, starts to get a little bit of winded. You know, his cardio fails him, and that's the beginning of the end for the fight. It could happen. Now, personally, I don't think it's going to go down that way. I think that once Brunson gets him up against the cage, gets him in the clinch, Shahbazyan's going to be able to, he'll be able to spin out. He's going to fight that off nice, probably take very little to no damage. He's going to spin off nice, and he's going to be able to keep this fight on the outside for the most part. I don't think Brunson's going to do very well with the takedowns. If he does get one or two here and there, he's not going to be able to hold him down. It's not going to be able to do any significant damage to him. I think Shahbazyan's going to mostly control this, keep it on the feet, control this fight, piece him up nice from the outside, and land some good shots. Now, Brunson is going to make connections, right? I'm not suggesting this guy looks like, you know, an early in Damian Maia, where his striking is just garbage. Not by any stretch of the imagination. He's going to go out there and he's going to land. He's not as good a striker as Shahbazyan, but he's going to make some connections. Now, the whole thing about that is how he's going to land with that left hand. He's got good power in it, very good power. If he's able to land that clean, he's going to be able to hurt Shahbazyan. He is a southpaw. It does line him up nice for that shot. Over the course of 5 rounds, something like that can't happen. But I don't think it's going to. I think this one's probably going to be over inside of 3. Shahbazyan is going to end up getting the TKO here. He's going to get a nice stoppage on it. Probably going to start it off with a right hand. Catch him over the top with a clean right hand. He's got a nice right hand that he throws over the top of somebody with a lazy jab. So, in this sense, because of the fact that they're matching up with orthodox and southpaw, it won't necessarily be over the top of a lazy jab. He's probably just going to be able to throw it in there as a lead right. But that'll be the start of the final destruction that marks the end for Derek Brunson. I think Edmen Shahbazyan comes out with this one inside of 3. I think he looks pretty good doing it. It's going to be a great step up. Put a good name on his resume. Get him some good experience against a name opponent. Really help him to try to break in there. He's a young guy. I mean, the sky's the limit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you think Derek Brunson's going to be able to come out with this one. If he does, what's next for him? How do you think Shahbazyan has been looking? And if he comes out with the victory on this one, what do you think's in store for him? If you've been enjoying the content too, please go ahead and like it and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate that support. It means a lot.